Welcome back to my channel. Here is the chapter 2 of Nightwatcher. What do you want this for? Xu Xingyan asked. I want to solve the case, Xu Qian replied. If I say that, then he'll think I am out of my mind. I want to know what happens so I can die in peace. If he directly said he was to solve the case, Xu Xingyan would probably assume that his brain was already fried. Hence Xu Qian changed his response. Xu Xingyan muttered, I've seen the case file so I can recite it for you. He had been traveling all around for the past few days trying to pull favors. But since the implications of the case were too massive, no one dared to help. Out of desperation, Xu Xingyan changed his line of reasoning and decided to change their fate by trying to locate the lost tax silver. Utilizing connections from his family and the academy, and also some silver to grease palms, Xu Xingyan paid off a clerk of the prefectural office to make a copy of the dossier. Nevertheless, he had to give up since he had zero experience in detective work and solving cases. Xu Qian raised his hand in interjection. Just write it down, there's no purpose in reciting it. All of the details of the case were condensed within the writing. It takes deliberation to analyze the text. Costing him a portion of his attention to listen to words would make him unable to analyze the situation with perfect calmness. Xu Qian's ability in logical deduction had been the top of the line when it comes to his past life. He was the exceptional person among his peers. If it were before, Xu Xingyan would not have bothered. But considering that this might be the brothers' final encounter before they could never meet again, he agreed to his cousin brother's request and whispered, Give me a moment. He quickly left. As the sound of footsteps had disappeared, Xu Qian sat down leaning on the prison bars while feeling trepidations in his heart. He did not have a clear solution to the problem. Wanting to solve the case was only a deep desire, as he was unwilling to submit to fate. This was the only way he realized that could save himself. It might be nothing more but the death throes of a desperate person, but he must at least try. In the modern era, detective work was supported by three crucial factors: crime scene investigation, local surveillance and corpse examination. There were no casualties when the tax silver was gone, and surveillance cameras did not exist in ancient times. Since that he was also stuck in jail, he had no condition to access the aforementioned three factors. Luckily, the contents of the dossier should somewhat restore the original crime scene. He was simultaneously digesting the memories of the original host and forcing himself to discard all negative emotions. Only a calm and collected mental state could have granted him perfect logical reason, in order to perform flawless deductions. To live or die, all depends on what's next. He muttered. After a full stick of incense as time had passed, Xu Xingyan returned in an urgent pace and passed over several pieces of paper with its ink still wet. The time is up, I have to go. Xu Xingyan hesitated before speaking, Take care of yourself. Xu Qian did not respond, as his eyes were affixed onto the words written on the paper. Time was short, thus the words written were in cursive. If Xu Qian had not studied in a private school for a few years, he would never be able to recognize these wobbly scribblings. Studying has a purpose, if the original host was illiterate. GGWP. Xu Qian spoke self-depreciatingly. The dossier on the case of the missing tax silver stated. 3 days ago, on the morning of 6:30, Xu Pingzhe escorted a shipment of tax silver into the capital. 7:10, walked to South Wide Street. As he crossed the bridge, a weird gust of wind blew. That spooked the horses and they rushed into the river beside the street. Then, a deafening explosion sounded. The waters were blown up to 3 meters high, waves and water sprinkles clouded the air. Soldiers tasked to escort the tax silver leapt into the river to find the silver, only recovering 1,215 taels. The rest of the silver were missing. Aside from the progress report of the case, there were recorded testimonies of nearby pedestrians and soldiers that were on escort duty. In the array of testimonial statements, Xu Qian noticed a short sentence highlighted by a red cinnabar inked pen: Monsters causing trouble. Monsters causing trouble? Xu Qian's pupil shrank, his heart sank. Jingzhou Prefectural Office, Back Hall. After toiling about for 3 days, the 3 persons in charge of the lost tax silver had gathered. The magistrate of Jingzhou Prefecture, Chen Hengguang, had a solemn expression. While holding a white porcelain teacup in his hands, the lid lightly tapping on the rims. This upper 4th-rank official was wearing scarlet robes with Chinese goose embroidery. He sighed, There's 2 more days. His Royal Majesty had ordered us to recover the tax silver before Xu Pingzhi's execution. Gentlemen, we must act fast. These two individuals are here to assist. The middle-aged man is named Li Yuchun, hailing from a notorious organization that all great Feng officials were fearful of, Nightwatchers. The Nightwatchers was an organization that specialized in reconnaissance, arrests, and interrogation. They also took part in military espionage and unconventional warfare. They are not under the jurisdiction of the 6 ministries nor the military. They were the eyes and ears of the royal family, and also the guillotine that hovered over the heads of the government officials. All officials of the Great Feng had heard of this saying, if you did not do bad things during the day, you will not fear the night watchers during the night. As for the lady in the yellow blouse, she was a member of the Astronomy Directorate. Her standing was high as she was the apprentice of the Directorate's supervisor. He wasn't lying. We investigated and tortured Xu Pingzhi and went through Hai's all of relationships and financial situation again, but 11 Pingzhi won't be able to escape death because of the lost silver. With the action of Skynet skilled assist, Xion can be cleared. Li Yuchun and Magistrate Chen had solemn expressions, their moods were somber. Only the young lady was unaffected by stress, chewing sugar cane as if she was heartless. At this time, footsteps sounded. A clerk hurried inside. His right hand holding a small bamboo tube and his left grabbing a paper bag, which contained a steaming hot meat bun. He first handed over the bamboo tube. The young lady did not accept it. Instead she stared at the meat bun with her starry eyes. He swiftly turned in the other. She only accepted the bamboo tube after happily munching on the meat bun. She then pulled up a slip of paper and extended it. I have information, there was no trace of Monster Chi 20 miles along the river. No trails left behind by the shore as well. Wham! The pressured atmosphere on scene had finally reached the tipping point. Magistrate Chen slammed the table in anger, his face was about to turn green. Where could 15,000 taels of silver go? It has to go on shore somehow, anyhow. It's been 3 days and there's still no clue about anything. Damn it, whatever Yao Guai it may be that dares to steal the Great Feng's money, I will give you a painful reckoning. If the tax silver could not be recovered, he would take the blame. The emperor would not care how wronged he felt. Once he was given this position, he would have to take the fall for whatever bad things that had happened. This was the reality of politics within the government officials. It was difficult to ascend into higher position but quick to be kicked out. Li Yuchun let out a sigh and continued the topic. Maybe our direction itself is wrong, maybe the monsters aren't behind this. Magistrate Chen looked at him and took a deep breath, reining in his anger. If it isn't monsters, then what of the supernatural gust of wind? How did the silver disappear once they entered the river? Why did the water explode upwards until several meters high, and sent shockwaves all across the shore? That is the end of Chapter 2. Thank you for watching.